Jameel McCline was a top 10 heavyweight. Now he dreams of returning to the big time. His opponent, Little Rock's Terry Smith. Winner of 8 in a row, Smith has never been knocked down.
That is the pure one-punch power of Allan Green.
Tonight, undefeated super middleweight Allan Green looks to raise his profile against a contender.
He's not on my level. Tonight it will show because he will fall.
In Green's path, Season 1 contender star Anthony Bonsante. Back in the real world after fighting in a reality series. Friday Night Fights, now. Friday Night Fights, presented by Just for Men. We're at the $1 Million Elm Casino in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hometown prospect in the main event. He's unbeaten with very heavy hands. 20-0 Allan Green taking on a Friday Night Fights favorite, Anthony Bonsante. And hi, everybody. I'm Brian Kenny, and welcome to Friday Night Fights. Once again, very good super middleweight matchup tonight. Our first fight, don't forget, once an elite heavyweight wants to get back up there again, Jameel Big McCline will be in the first fight. We'll have a report from Atlantic City. Carlos Baldemir defends his welterweight championship of the world against Arturo Gatti. Arturo Gatti looking for his second true world championship. We'll talk more about that fight with Teddy Atlas. Who's next for Shane Mosley as well? We'll look back at Mosley, Vargas, too. Right now, ready for some live boxing. Let's send it out there. Once again, 2 very good fights at the very least. Live boxing throughout the night in Oklahoma. We send it out to Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas.
I agree, Brian. Very good car here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, home to Friday Night Fights. We are at the Osage $1 Million Elm Casino just outside of downtown. It is not far from the home of the undefeated power-punching prospect Allan Green. Tonight, he will try to take a step closer to a world title shot. Green faces off against the popular veteran and contender Season 1 participant Anthony Bonsante. That's in our main event. And we got good news from Tulsa. The Tribal Commission here is happy to provide us a ringside physician. That's Dr. David Lovelace. So unlike the Wednesday Night Fights fiasco in California, we're ready and able for action. Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Fights. I'm Joe Tessitore. This is a sport that loves to tout and hype prospects as future world champions. Among the most talked about is Allan Green. But sometimes that looking ahead can get you caught. And that was the case on Wednesday Night Fights back in April when he was taking on former sparring partner Donnie McCrary. Green was nearly TKO'd, but the desperate underdog faded. Allan survived and had a huge win by knockout later on. I am now joined by Teddy Atlas. Teddy, the circumstances on April, how do they have an effect tonight?
Well, they can have a couple of effects. First of all, they can have an effect on the opponent, on Bonsante. He can have confidence, more confidence than he had before going in with the undefeated Green. And, of course, they can have an effect on Green. They can take away some of his confidence, although right there, he doesn't look like a guy who's suffering in that department. But more importantly, they can teach a lesson to Green to button down the hatches defensively and to get that concentration up to a level where that mistake will never take place again.
Meanwhile, veteran Tony Bonsante, he's been doing a little bit of that Lou Holtz thing, kind of downplaying his chances and abilities.
Well, he wants to be like McCrary, because in the McCrary fight, of course, Green was overlooking him. Nobody was talking about McCrary. He was nice and quiet. He was a guy that was unassuming, a guy that nobody thought anything about. So Bonsante wants to take the same kind of track. Be nice and quiet, very unassuming, and hope that he can pull off the same thing, get Green to overlook him.
So the undefeated Allan Green against Tony Bonsante in our main event in what is perhaps the most balanced Friday night fight card of the year. I say that because we have Jameel McCline against Terry Smith. Heavyweights when we return to Friday Night Fights.
How about here? You got anything?
No.
What about now?
Stop. No.
Here?
No.
What about now?
No. Stop. Back up. We're in. 4 bars, baby.
The rabbit's back.
It's $18 for an hour.
Because the city's expensive enough. Excuse me. I'm looking for the new Ultimate Media Razor phone from Verizon Wireless. You know, the one that helps you find places with maps and turn-by-turn directions.
Sir, you in a hardware store?
Man, I need that phone.
Get your new Ultimate Media Moto Razor. With a navigation system and a whole lot more, it's the only razor you want. Just $69.99 and exclusively from Verizon Wireless.
Turn right.
Verizon Wireless.
Prison bars don't stop them. California's most violent gang leaders locked away for life and still able to run their criminal networks from this maximum security prison. Using a complex code to communicate and trafficking drugs through postcards, they are the prisoners of Pelican Bay. 3 hours of lockdown starts Sunday at 8 on the National Geographic Channel. Dare to explore. Watch Lockdown on Channel 276.
When the IRS levied my business and personal accounts, I didn't know where to turn. My CPA recommended American Tax Relief.
If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS or state, call American Tax Relief for a free consultation.
Look, the IRS is offering you a one-time opportunity to settle your debt. This is your 1 second chance. Use it well.
I thought I was going to lose my business, but American Tax Relief got me a second chance.
Call 1-800-TAX-HELP for your free consultation.
Problem.
ESPN2 Friday Night Fights presented by the new Just for Men hair color. Knocks out the gray better than ever. Plenty of oil derricks around town in Tulsa. And plenty of punches we're hoping for in our heavyweight co-feature. Jameel Big Time McCline has been to the top. In order to get there again, he has to solve the very durable and determined Terry Smith. Jameel McCline, the former two-time world title challenger. He's now 36 years old. He came into this fight at 270 pounds, but he's carrying that weight better, he feels, as part of the master plan to be faster and more athletic. The other part of the formula is to stay busy, and if you look at his last 5 fights, you'll see that he's done just that since his upset loss at the hands of Zuri Lawrence. Jameel beat Rob Calloway on Wednesday night fights, already his 5th fight of the year. He feels like he'll be right back in contention with a win tonight.
There isn't necessarily one guy I would target or would not target. As you know, I've never turned down a fight. I am one of the best fighters in the division now, and I'm proving that not only tonight but in the past 8 months. This is already my 6th fight in 8 months. It'll be my 6th win in 8 months, and I'm back.
He will be facing 34-year-old Terry the Troublemaker Smith, and he's been troubled for 28 opponents in his 5-year career. He was a speed bump for top 10 ranked Calvin Brock 2 years ago. Close decision. That's Terry's only loss. 4 inches shorter, 45 pounds lighter than McCline, and there are his last 5 fights. He toppled 7-footer Julius Long to close out the 2005 Friday night fight season. That was on Labor Day weekend. Terry was the more skilled boxer, but the 7-footer did get to him in the middle rounds and had him stunned and hurt a few times. Smith would rally late and come up with the win against the big man. He admits that he was first worried about facing the size of McCline, but as this fight has approached, he's become more confident about it.
At first, I was worried about his size difference and everything like that, and how he's going to come at me and everything. But after seeing him and being face-to-face, squaring off against him, the size difference really ain't there. It's me and him. And right now, I'm more determined, I'm more willing, and I want this fight. And so, at the end of the night, hey, Terry Smith's going to be victorious.
Scheduled 10-rounder. Gary Ritter, the referee.
Okay, gentlemen, this is for the NABO Heavyweight Championship. I expect you to conduct yourself as champions. You received your instructions earlier. I want a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands. Both your trunks are good. Touch your gloves. Let's have a good fight.
The ring experience. Both of these gentlemen got a late start to boxing. McCline only had 1 amateur fight. Jameel has fought the higher level of competition. Of course, he fought for heavyweight titles, lost to Klitschko and Bird. Dropped Bird in that fight, almost pulled off a title-clinching win, but there was a point differential. So we are underway, 10 rounds. McCline and Smith.
Smith says if you stay on McCline, don't give in, he starts to mentally cave in. So that's as good a tip-off for a scouting report as any as to the way Smith is going to approach this fight. Look for him to put pressure on the taller McCline.
Terry Smith has spent many recent years as James Lights Out Tony's chief sparring partner, going to camp with Tony. In preparation for this fight, he had his own training camp. He went up to Massachusetts. He worked with manager and trainer Mark Vaz, and he worked out at the Petronelli Gym in Brockton. He said it was inspiring to be there in the home of Hagler.
Well, confidence is the most important part of this game. So any way you get it, just get it. You'd think with a size advantage of bulk and height, you would think that McCline would have a choice of fighting inside or outside, but with his temperament, Joe, expect him on the outside doing what he's doing right now, using his jab and his reach.
Stop, break, step back.
McCline is a careful guy. He doesn't fight like you would expect, or maybe in some cases you would want a 270-pound heavyweight to fight. He fights more like a lightweight. On the outside, uses his legs, he's got quick hands, likes to start anything or everything technically the correct sound way with that left jab.
Says that is the key. You heard him talk about the consistency and staying busy. Says when he stays busy and stays in form, active in the ring, active in training, the jab works well.
Well, if Smith doesn't work on getting in, McCline can win this fight just on the outside, doing that, using the jab, keeping distance, and countering with the left hook when Smith tries to force his way in and tries to make up real estate with the longer, taller McCline.
4-inch height differential. McCline 6'6", 270 pounds.
The man who has to take the risk tonight is Smith. He's the shorter man. He has to get closer to McCline to do damage. McCline can stay on the outside, use the jabs, and catch Smith as he comes in.
Short right hand on the inside. So McCline scores there, as Smith did exactly what you said. He did come forward and get on the inside, but he received a right hand when he was in that real estate.
Two offensive opportunities for big-time McCline. One is on the outside with the jab and that quick jab. The other is in the countering department. When Smith, the shorter man, tries to get in, and if he makes some mistakes and he reaches just a little bit, like he did right there, look for McCline to counter.
Look at this to close out this first round. Good action among the heavy.
When something is real, you know it. Introducing new Just for Men. Its new True Color formula targets only gray. Easy as shampooing for a natural look that is real. Real to the eye, real to the touch, real where it counts. New True Color Just for Men.
Bust the blandness with Fiery Buffalo Boneless Wings at KFC. Get 100% breast meat boneless wings dipped in our Fiery Buffalo sauce. Try 6 for $2.99 or 18 for $8.79. Also available in honey barbecue flavor. No bones, all flavor at KFC.
When you take it off, you're gonna like what you see.
Scotch Blue Painter's Tape. Goes on easy, comes off clean, leaving professional paint lines. Scotch Blue Painter's Tape.
When you're the taller, bigger man like McCline, you can stand on the outside and you can counter your opponent, as he did right there with Smith with the left hook, as Smith tries to force his way in.
Counter left hand by McCline, highlighting that first round. Also had a short right hand and getting back to work, doubling up the jab early on here in this second round. McCline in the black with silver, and Smith in the dark blue with white. And if you can't tell them apart any other way, how about the fact that McCline is 45 pounds bigger and 4 inches taller, a hulking physical presence in the ring.
But where he's not always bigger is in confidence, and that's why sometimes he stays on the outside and boxes. You have to give McCline credit, though. He didn't have a wealth of a place to gain that confidence like most fighters in the amateurs. He learned on the job, no amateur experience.
One amateur fight for Jameel McCline. You can see Terry Smith complaining right there. Now on the inside, watch that forearm of big Jameel McCline. Tries the short right hand on the inside. Aggressive approach. Clubs down with 2 right hands.
Going to be a tough night for Smith.
Step back. Step back.
Good fight and an intriguing fight, but can be a good, tough fight and tough night for Smith, because you can see right there why. McCline can have the better of it when he chooses on the outside. He's longer, he's taller, and he's quicker. He can win on the outside with his jab, and then when Smith forces his way in, he can counter. But he also has the size advantage of pure physicality, Joe. McCline, bulk-wise, is the bigger, stronger man. Now, if his temperament and his confidence allows him to, he can take it inside and handle himself well inside with Smith. If he does that, where does Smith go? Where does Smith gain hope to pull out this fight?
One of the places that he was looking to gain hope, well, it hasn't arrived yet. He wants to get the second half of the fight around and hope that McCline starts fast and fades late.
Well, what he better not hope for, and he being Smith, and he better start performing. The one place that he has to have productivity and perhaps that word hope is on the inside, where McCline will not always use his bulk. His temperament sometimes will suggest that he ties up and he waits to get outside. That is where Smith must get himself active. That is where Smith must shine if he's going to be having a good night and a successful night tonight.
That right hand parried. Back to the inside.
Smith cannot win, in my estimation, on the outside. So he must be productive, he must be efficient, and he just must be busy when he's in close.
Left hand to the body, then a left hand upstairs, and they close out the round in style again.
You can see it in a smile like Rob Machado's. Just look at the man and you know you'll never see anyone so happy to go to work. He's got that inborn style that only happens when true talent is motivated by sincere pleasure. You can see it between him and the wave, how he surfs in harmony, and those long, soulful lines he carves are the love letters he leaves behind. X Games 12 starts Thursday, August 3rd, live at 9 on ESPN. Presented by Saturn.
The Saturn Vue, with an estimated 29 miles per gallon highway and the highest crash test ratings. And the Saturn Ion, with a 5-star frontal crash safety rating and an estimated 35 miles per gallon highway. The 2006 Saturn Ion and the 2006 Saturn Vue. Great times, great timing. Now get 10% off the purchase of any new 2006 Saturn vehicle at the Saturn Summer Sales Event.
If Smith is going to turn the fight his way, he needs to be in close, and he needs to be busy. In that spot, you saw both men showing their wares inside.
Round number 3, a very, very strong co-feature here on Friday Night Fights.
Good left hook by
Jameel McCline lands the left hook here to open up this third round against Terry Smith. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Terry Smith, his only career loss was a close call against top 10 contender Calvin Brock. And of course, it was last year on ESPN pay-per-view when Jameel McCline floored Calvin Brock, only to have Brock come back and upset him.
You know, McCline's the bigger man, but sometimes, and McCline's showing the ability to go inside or outside because of that bulk, because of that size. But what I was about to say, Joe, is sometimes with a bigger man, he has to be only on the outside because he's not bigger physically, glute strength and physicality. He's just taller and longer, and he has to be on the outside. Most of the time, he doesn't want to be on the inside. McCline has the great option of being able to choose either place because he's not only bigger in size and length, he's bigger, period. He can go inside or he can go outside. Smith has to be where he is right now.
Smith landed a right hand, and then McCline went downstairs with a left and a right. Halfway through this third round, such an important heavyweight fight for both men's careers. McCline talks about getting back in the mix for a heavyweight title. Terry Smith at 28-1-1. Well, this would be a signature win. Back to the jab for McCline.
Again, that advantage will always be there for McCline. He's got the quicker hands, the longer arms. The outside will serve McCline in more ways than one. It will serve him in the front end where he can get off first.
Left hand from McCline.
It will also serve McCline if he wants to catch Smith coming in. That time he did not catch Smith coming in. And Smith got to where he wanted to be, in that punching zone that a smaller man can be productive.
Wow, Terry Smith absorbed 2 left hands and then just made a decision that he was going to take the waves head on. He did, and for a moment this crowd came to its feet, and they deserve that kind of reaction. What a good third round.
Step back, both fighters. Step back.
You know, McCline has been having success with those quicker hands, and believe it or not, even quicker feet, jumping in with those left hook and catching Smith. I wonder when Smith in his corner are going to make an adjustment and maybe beat him with a right hand.
End of 3.
Is this,
Yeah, this is it. So, it's $2,400 a month. First month, last month, 3-month security, and my fee is in there. Kitchen, bath, room for a bed. So you're gonna take it?
The rabbit's back.
Oh yeah, this is the best thing I've seen all day.
Because the city's expensive enough.
Throws a lead left hook. You pick it off with your right hand.
There's Mark Vaz working with Terry Smith in the corner. They went away to camp, and this is a really focused and determined Terry Smith we're seeing tonight. Let's take a look back at the action from the third round, Teddy.
Start picking the, okay.
Well, right here you see Smith knowing where he has to be, in close. And you see the advantage when there's distance, the advantage with that jab. But undeterred, you see also the attitude you just talked about of Smith walking in and letting those hands go.
Both men landed 21 punches in that third round. McCline had success with the left hand. He got to Smith, and it brought out the best in Smith. That was a very entertaining third round. Solid co-feature on Friday Night Fights. Still to come tonight, the undefeated power-punching Allan Green takes on the veteran of the Contender Series, Anthony Bonsante. McCline in the black and silver, 6'6", 270 pounds, 2-time heavyweight title challenger, looking to get back in the mix in that division.
Well, if you look at the trunks of McCline, you can see that he's not only a big, quick man, but a loyal man, a man who remembers his friends, as you see on those trunks, the caption in memory of the former CEO of Everlast, a good man, George Horowitz.
One of the most generous and giving men to ever touch this sport, and he is sorely missed. Tie up on the inside, see who lets those hands go. Gary Ritter's going to break them. Teddy Atlas's scorecard, 29-28 McCline. 4-punch combination on the inside.
See, this is where I find it very interesting in the turning point of the fight, because McCline, we've established it already, and our great fans out there see it already. McCline has the advantage on the outside. Inside, he can choose to have a great night, being so big and being 270 pounds to the 225 pounds of Smith. But it's not always his temperament to be comfortable inside. And the weight is on the shoulders of Smith to not only get inside, but have to be productive. So the inside is the turning point, because if Smith does not maximize those spots, and McCline can have moments there, well, we already said McCline's going to be the better man outside. That will make it a very, very difficult gap to overcome for Smith.
Comes forward with the left hand.
Again, you saw right there, Joe, the speed, the quickness of a 270-pound man. McCline jumps in with that left hook, and 4 times tonight he's connected with it. It can be dangerous, though. Smith can decide to time him with a straight right hand, and a straight right hand can beat a left hook.
See blood on the right shoulder of Jameel McCline. That's coming from the nose of Terry Smith. There's a body shot. A right hand was solid. Smith trying to get those hands free on the inside. Fires off an uppercut. Another uppercut. They've gone at it every time they've heard the 10-second tap. They go for it again. Look at McCline.
Carrier. Singular Family Talk. Add a line for just $9.99. Plus, buy a new Samsung camera phone and get another one free. Singular, raising the bar.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new special order center just for you. Your one-of-a-kind, one-stop shop for everything you could ever want in parts and performance accessories. Everything from lift kits to cool custom accessories is ready for direct-to-your-door delivery or convenient in-store pickup. When you want the most complete selection of parts and accessories, the only place to go is the new special order center in Advance Auto Parts.
We're ready in advance.
This fight is probably going to be won on the inside. And right here, both men make their bid for it. McCline's a little stronger.
There he is through 4 rounds. Jameel big-time McCline. Remember, Terry Smith said, I think he's got 4 good rounds of activity in him, and then it's my fight. Let's see if that holds true. Teddy Atlas's scorecard, 39-37 for the former title challenger, Jameel McCline.
McCline has fought for a world title. McCline, on the whole, has fought the better opposition. That serves you, that confidence, that knowledge, those tests, they serve you down the stretch in a tough fight.
He was TKO'd by Vladimir Klitschko in 2002, lands a left hand there. And then in 2004, he scored a knockdown against Chris Bird, but Bird rallied late.
Punch out, fight out, clinches. Push up,
You know, I mentioned earlier, Smith said, if you stay on McCline, you don't give in. He starts to mentally cave in. Here's my question. What if he doesn't? And you hung your hat on that. What happens then if you depended on that and you do not see that happening to your opponent?
You got a long 6 rounds ahead of you.
Do you get discouraged?
Yeah, it's a long 6 rounds ahead of you.
Do you wilt a little bit?
And that's really the key question in this fight. There was a right hand after the jab from Terry Smith. Will McCline fade? He put forth tremendous effort those first 4 rounds.
Will Smith get discouraged? I put forth that question if McCline does not fade. Either way, you ask it. An intriguing matchup.
He creates some space, fires off a right hand.
Stop, Ray. Come on now.
Again, whoever makes the better choices on the inside, I believe, is going to have his hand raised at the end of this fight. There's no margin for error here for Smith. He can't win on the outside. If McCline can simply stay even with him on the inside, the fight will be McCline's.
Blood still coming from the nose of Smith. Coming up on the final half minute of this 5th round. Keep in mind, the last 15 to 10 seconds of the first 4 rounds have been spectacular. Let's see if both men try to turn it on and steal the round again.
Neither man making the decision,
Not now.
the choice to be the boss on the inside. Both of them making those silent contracts. You don't hit me, I won't hit you.
Here comes the 10-second clap. Let's see what they do this time, if the energy's still there.
10 seconds, go, fight out.
Left hand.
Zions presents Hold Nothing Back. Roy Jones Jr. versus Prince Body live on pay-per-view Saturday, July 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss 5-time world champion Roy Jones Jr. battle Prince Body for the North American light heavyweight crown live on pay-per-view from the Quest Arena in Boise, Idaho, Saturday, July 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hold Nothing Back. Roy Jones Jr. versus Prince Body presented by Zions.
Terry Smith, the 5-year pro from Arkansas, the 9th of 13 children in his family, a hungry 34-year-old heavyweight here on Friday Night Fights, presented by Just for Men Hair Color in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in what could be the signature win of his career. I'm Joe Tessitore alongside Teddy Atlas. He's got a real tough challenge taking on the former 2-time heavyweight title challenger, Jameel Big Time McCline. He's in the black with silver trunks, the hulking 6'6", 270-pound native New Yorker.
The last round, Smith did not do enough on the inside. A man who has to do everything that's available and find everything that's available on the inside to beat the taller man. But having said that, McCline led up on the outside the last round. Did not carry that dominance. That area where he has such a significant edge, he did not use his jab well the last round.
Teddy's scorecard, 48-47. A good, solid, competitive heavyweight main event. Such an important fight for both men. For Terry Smith, a chance to define himself. For Jameel McCline, it is an open and opportunistic heavyweight division, and he can easily get himself back in the mix for a title shot.
Look at that temperament, the temperament at work of the big guy McCline. Gets inside, smothers Smith, makes him think that there's nothing to worry about, then he lets go a little bit, and then all of a sudden he flurries and tries to grab parts of the round. I said early, Joe, McCline has the choices here. Smith has no choices, has to fight on the inside. McCline can control the outside, and he's got the size if he wants to. If the confidence is there, if the discipline is there, to carry the inside. But so far, the last 2 rounds, McCline has given up the outside and decided to take it solely inside. That might be a mistake, because that's the only place Smith can prosper. Why don't you use your advantage if you have an advantage on the outside? There you can see that advantage. But there you can see Smith closes the gap and finishes up well on the inside.
And he did so with a right hand when he had that chance. There's a good left hand by McCline. Put a right hand in there in the midst of a 3-punch combination.
And there's proof of why McCline can do well inside. Not only 270 pounds, but he's got fast hands. Faster than Smith.
2 heavyweights giving a strong effort on Friday Night Fights.
Here's to men. To guys who want to take longer drives with fewer pit stops. To guys who want to spend less time in the men's room and more time fishing. And here's to Flomax. It's approved to treat male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also called an enlarged prostate. In 1 week, Flomax may help symptoms like going often, going urgently, weak stream, frequently waking up at night to go. For you, Flomax could make a difference in 1 week. Ask your doctor if symptoms are from BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden decrease in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. For more information, call 877-4-FLOMAX. Ask your doctor about Flomax. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
34-year-old Terry Smith said, "I'll impose my will on Jameel McCline." He's staying right in there. Start of round number 7. Let's look at the punch track. Punches thrown throughout the fight. Jameel McCline took a little bit of a dip in the 5th round and came back in the 6th round and got back to where he was, throwing 45. There's a counter right hand by Smith. As you can see, Smith's output has been a higher total number of punches thrown.
McCline will fight in spurts. And that is why you've had that up and down in those numbers, as you just said very well, Joe.
There's Teddy's scorecard, 58-56. McCline taking the 6th round. He said for the first time in his career, when people were asking him how he trained, he said, "I train smart." let's see if he can fight smart with these last 4 rounds on the table.
Well, what he did smart right there, on the inside, he shoe shined. He got off quick with the quicker hands. He flurried, he scored a little bit, and then he tied up Smith. And Smith went along with the tie-up.
He's done that a couple times so far tonight, the shoe shine, a little flurries downstairs.
And that's a way of staying ahead of your opponent just a little bit. McCline gets off, then he ties up. It's up to Smith to have the last say or the last punch. And that's testing something that's more than conditioning and more than physical ability. That's testing choices. That's testing stuff inside of you.
See Smith pulling him back, but also not making a decision to punch in doing so. Final minute of this 7th round, caught by a left hand as he came in that time. Gary Ritter getting more and more involved as the fight goes on. Falls forward with a right hand, does Terry Smith.
Now you just said a key word. Falls forward with a right hand, does Terry Smith. That's an area where McCline can take advantage of on the outside more than just using the jab. And that's the area where he can counterpunch. And he hasn't done enough of that in the last couple rounds. Counterpunch when the shortest Smith does fall in and does take those chances that leaves himself wide open for McCline. Right there's a nice counter left hook. And there's another good counter left hook.
And went to the body with the left hand also. Now Smith back on the inside. He needs to work there. Hasn't had the most productive round of his evening at all.
Space is a friend of McCline.
Good finish to the 7th round.
You can see it in a smile like Rob Machado's. Just look at the man and you know you'll never see anyone so happy to go to work. He's got that inborn style that only happens when true talent is motivated by sincere pleasure. You can see it between him and the wave, how he surfs in harmony. And those long, soulful lines he carves are the love letters he leaves behind. X Games 12 starts Thursday, August 3rd, live at 9 on ESPN. Presented by MB Zip.
Three rounds to go in what has been a very exciting heavyweight fight. Jameel Big Time McCline, he says, I'm the better fighter, I'm the bigger fighter, I'm the faster fighter. The question is, who will be the hungrier and more determined fighter between McCline and Terry Smith? Round number 8, scheduled for 10.
I talked about McCline being served by having fought the better professional opponents, having fought for a world title, even though he had no amateur background. Smith is served with having a better and a pretty immense amateur background, 100 amateur fights.
Teddy's scorecard 68-65 behind the work of McCline in the 6th and 7th round. But Terry Smith has been in each and every one of these rounds.
For a man who has to eat in the kitchen of McCline, Smith has too often pushed the plate away. Look right there.
On the inside, not making a decision to punch. Back out at range where it favors the 6'6" McCline. There was a right hand uppercut when he got to that better real estate.
And McCline needs to stay away from the table. Stay on the outside. As I said the last round, distance serves McCline like sun serves flowers. He has room to get that jab off, to use those quicker hands, and to counter Smith as he tries to get in.
Break, step back, both fighters, step back. Step.
Punch track, the jab numbers. This may be surprising as Smith has thrown 50 more. 28 to 25 advantage for McCline. But a lot of this fight has been fought on the inside, where Smith needs to have the advantage, but McCline has scored well.
The difference is Smith, you just said it well, Joe, has to be on the inside. McCline can choose from in or out. Less pressure in that way, more options in that way for McCline.
Stop. Wrestling.
Right now, Smith not making the choices that a man that has to prosper on the inside, has to work, has to shine on the inside.
Stop.
He is not performing that way.
Terry Smith made the comment time and time again that McCline fades late, that'll be the key to this fight. The other side of that is that Terry Smith has to do something about it.
Well, a man wouldn't fade if you're just tying him up, as Smith is doing right there. You need to work. You need to take him into places, dark places, to make him fade. And that means you have to do some of that. Move your hands.
Don't push.
End of 8.
Good counter left hook.
For some guys, a mustache or beard isn't just hair. It's a real part of who they are.
Ain't nothing like the real thing. Ain't nothing like
Introducing new True Color Formula Just for Men Gel. Penetrates coarse facial hair for a natural look in 5 easy minutes. So you'll always look like the real you, her real dad, her real man.
Chappelle's Show, The Lost Episodes, is coming to DVD uncensored. With over an hour of extras, including 5 unaired sketches and deleted scenes.
How can you resist?
Chappelle's Show, The Lost Episodes, coming to DVD July 25th.
Motel6.com is the only place you need to go to find a great room at a great rate. Olay, 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 olay. The best place for the best rates is Motel6.com. We'll leave the light on for you.
Go. Take it.
Mark Vaz giving the final instructions to 34-year-old, 28-win veteran Terry Smith as he enters the 9th round. And what he said to Smith after that 8th round was that Jameel McCline is spent. Just throw combinations. Anything you throw, you will land. But I want to see you work.
You believe in arithmetic?
Sure.
Well, if you add it up, McCline has an edge 3-1. 3 places where he can have the advantage. On the outside with the jab, on the outside with counters, and if he wants, he can go inside with 270 pounds. There's only one spot Smith can shine and win this fight, and that's inside.
2-punch combination, then a left hand from McCline. The arithmetic of Teddy Atlas's scorecard goes 78-74 for the big McCline, who's turning it on a bit here in the first minute of this 9th round. Let's look at the punch track body shot numbers.
It's getting to the place, at least on my scorecard, where Smith needs to land the big punch to turn this around. And that would come from a right hand if I was in the corner of Smith. I would look to maybe get an opportunity where McCline jumps in and takes a little bit of a liberty by jumping in with a left hook from out in front. A place where you really shouldn't lead with left hooks because there's always a chance a straight right hand can be coming. If I was in the corner of Smith, I might adjust my fight plan to looking for right hands inside left hooks of McCline.
He just had a great opportunity for one and didn't pull the trigger, as we saw a very deliberate and telegraphed left hand from McCline. There's a left hand.
Again, a lead left hook by McCline. And a spot where maybe a straight right hand of Smith's could have gotten there first, but didn't.
He has shown off the lead left hook time and time again, so you know the ability for the counter right exists.
And again, you see the options of McCline, you see the quicker hands of McCline. McCline can get things done on the outside and on the inside. Again, Smith, a man who you would think would be desperate, just absolutely desperate to get things done inside with the taller man, not making the choice to punch. And you can't blame McCline when he goes inside and ties up a little bit. He can get away with it because he can win on the outside. Smith can't win on the outside.
1 round to go. What a night here in Tulsa. We're at the Osage $1 Million Elm Casino, and the locals have come out to see Tulsa's very own 20-0 Allan Green. He will be taking on Anthony Bonsante, coming off that controversial decision loss to Jesse Brinkley last October. That is an anticipated main event coming up next on Friday Night Fights. Let's listen into the corner of Terry Smith as he gets ready for this final round.
You need this last round big time, Terry, okay? There you go, Willie. Okay, you need this last round big.
Last round, touch him up in the ring center.
Okay.
Tight, no shots, up.
And as for Jameel McCline.
Many of you say, just get off with the sound. Keep saying, huh? Okay, that's it. That's what I want from you. That's it. Every time he rush at you, that's what you want. Okay, man. Where's the mouthpiece? Come on, get your mouthpiece.
Seeing exactly what we're seeing, Teddy. A situation where it's reached the point where Terry Smith needs something big.
Outwork him, man. Take him.
Applying the final piece of tape, saying outwork him and take him. And McCline's folks saying, let's see you keep working and maintain yourself.
And those folks in the corner of McCline who have done a good job. Matt Drayton, Matthew Cedrone, and Lou Martinez, along with Mark Vaz in Smith's corner, Ozell Nelson, and Willie Settle.
The crew, the same crew in Terry Smith's corner that has gotten Jermaine Taylor off the ground into a world championship in his illustrious career. Behind by 5 on Teddy's scorecard, so as said, Smith needs a big 10th round here and needs to come up with a knockout win according to Teddy.
But don't go away yet, because this has been an interesting, really well-contested fight.
Good combination.
And what Smith needs right now, I think this round, he needs some of that, some energy, some desire to move his hands. But I think he needs a right hand, maybe, to catch McCline as he's throwing a left hook. Let's see if he gets it.
Don't forget, an undersized heavyweight named Calvin Brock hurt Jameel McCline a year ago. So it can happen.
Watch McCline when he jumps in with that left hook. He led with it there. That is the spot that I think Smith needs within the next minute and 33 seconds.
Local crowd chanting Terry here. We're in Oklahoma. He's from Arkansas.
By the way, there's one other spot I should remember. McCline, the tall man, if he does straighten up like that and go straight back, McCline can give opportunities for Smith to find the tall target. Follow him, step with him. Yes.
Stepped into a right hand from McCline. Final minute. Can Jameel McCline hold on? Can Terry Smith cash in on that jackpot?
If nothing dramatic happens here, I have McCline winning the fight. And if it stays that way, and it turns out that way on the cards that count, the official cards, Smith can blame himself for getting inside and doing that, allowing himself to put his hands behind McCline, not in front of him, and not work.
There's that lead left hand again. Oh, nice lead right uppercut from Jameel McCline.
There's an old saying, if you're not going to do nothing or anything in front of your man, don't be there. Smith getting caught standing in front of McCline. Again, a left hook of McCline and no right hand from Smith.
Jameel McCline said, I'm in position to show the world that I'm one of the better fighters out there. Had a good showing tonight. Great effort from Terry Smith, too. We'll come back and get the decision on Friday Night Fights.
This is Duralast, the alternator built to exceed the need. Built with heavy-duty components to perform under extreme conditions, engineered to surpass original equipment standards for longer life. Built with the technology to withstand high electrical demands, and backed by a nationwide lifetime warranty. Get the alternator built to exceed the need. Only at AutoZone.
Let's show how easy this new product is to make. I'm gonna go get somebody out of the audience.
It's the Mike's Hard Frozen Lemonade Show.
What's your name?
My name is Barbara.
Barbara, come on down. Just pour it over ice, put the lid on, and let it rip. Oh, there it is, there it is. Yeah, I think she's got it. Johnny, tell her what she's won. Nothing? You've won nothing! Hey! We'll be right next to the beer.
Ever been told that broadband is out of reach just because of where you live? Don't believe it. Say hello to high-speed internet by satellite. HughesNet, the #1 choice for satellite internet service in the country. And you can get it right now. So dump your slow dial-up and jump into the high-speed action you've been craving. Faster surfing, faster downloads, instant email access? HughesNet delivers. And it doesn't use a phone line, so missed calls and dialing in are a thing of the past. All you need is a clear view of the southern sky. HughesNet is brought to you by Hughes, the leading provider of satellite communications worldwide. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? You're done with waiting. Call 1-800-488-2828 now or visit gethughesnet.com and live the high-speed life in no time. HughesNet, bringing broadband to everyone. Call now. You're welcome.
ESPN2 Friday Night Fights, presented by the new Just for Men hair color. Knocks out the gray better than ever. Beautiful statue in front of the Thomas Gilchrist Western Heritage Museum. We had a Wild West kind of heavyweight fight to start us off here. Let's look at the Punch Track Fight recap brought to you by Just for Men hair color. In that last round, Jameel McCline had 24 connects. That was his high total for the fight. Teddy Atlas's scorecard. Close rounds early. Jameel McCline never faded, thus 98-92. For the official word, we send it to the ring to M. Mark Biero.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Gerald Ritter scores the bout 97-94. Judge Don Griffith scores it 97-93. And Judge Brett Miller sees it 98-92. All to the winner by unanimous decision and new NABO heavyweight champion, Jameel Big Time McCline.
Well, the gap in the scoring belies the fact that it was a very highly competitive and entertaining heavyweight fight, something you don't see a lot of nowadays. Good job by Terry Smith. Very good job by Jameel McCline, the 38th win of his career. Let's send it back to Brian Kenny. BK.
Joe, I agree. A hard-working heavyweight fight. By round 3, you'd figure this one can't go the distance, but it did. All right, let's get to the weekend. Now, you might remember Zab Judah fought Carlos Baldomir in January, pretty much as a tune-up for a super fight with Floyd Mayweather. Baldomir, though, messed things up by beating Judah convincingly in that fight. It was not close. Zab still fought Mayweather, but the welterweight championship of the world belongs to Carlos Baldomir. The unlikely champion has his first title defense tomorrow night as Arturo Gatti jumped at the chance to win his second true world championship. Let's go to the weigh-in. It's in the home away from home for Arturo Gatti, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Baldomir, there were rumors of Baldomir being well overweight. Whatever it was, he's on target as of today, 147 pounds. Arturo Gatti, same thing, 147, the limit at welterweight. Now, it's interesting, as we go to the tail of the tape, you'd wonder, geez, Gatti, he's getting older. He's kind of undersized since he won a title at 130. Actually, Gatti is younger and has a longer reach. Baldomir is 35 years old. Baldomir, should be pointed out, though, has not lost since 1998.
Baldomir just came from a victory against Zab Judah.
not beat a great fighter in New York City. So, you know, he was lucky in New York, so he's planning on winning here in New Jersey, but it's a very tough thing to do.
When I think of Gatti, I think he's a very strong fighter. I don't think he can hurt me. His best moments were a long time ago.
And go back to January. I mentioned unbeaten since 1998. He's 18-0-2 in that span. He thoroughly outboxed Zab Judah, who would then go on to take rounds from Floyd Mayweather. Again, remember how good Zab looked early on in that fight? Well, Baldomir had to be somebody in there to beat Zab Judah, welterweight champion of the world. As for Arturo Gatti, let's go back a decade and then some. Won his first world title at 130 pounds in a close and disputed decision over Tracy Patterson. It was a legitimate world title belt at junior lightweight. He had his classics with Mickey Ward, Gabe Ruelas, Wilson Rodriguez. His last fight, his first bout at welterweight, Thomas Damgard in January '06. He was fluid and effective. Again, this is back in Atlantic City. Dan Rafael is there.
Here in Atlantic City for the Carlos Baldomir-Arturo Gatti welterweight championship fight. It's been a quiet week news-wise until today. The Carlos Baldomir camp is a little bit upset about the choice of Wayne Hedgepeth as the referee for the fight. They say he's not experienced enough in 12-round fights and 10-round fights. The Gatti camp, they say they understand their problems with the fight and the referee, but that they can't do anything about it, and they're satisfied with Wayne Hedgepeth as the referee. The overall feeling here this week is that we're looking for a very good fight. Most people never heard of Carlos Baldomir until he defeated Zab Judah in January. Nobody's taking him that lightly this time around. Everybody thinks that it's going to be a real competitive fight, that Arturo Gatti probably will edge him out, but that the fans will certainly get their money's worth. Personally, I think that I agree with that. We're looking at Arturo Gatti to eke out a decision in an excellent fight and become the new welterweight champion of the world. For Friday Night Fights, this is Dan Rafael in Atlantic City.
All right, Dan, with the very latest right there from Atlantic City. Again, many in the boxing world thought, who is going to be the first guy to take a shot at Carlos Baldomir and reap the rewards of being the welterweight champion of the world? Of course, you have to go out and you have to beat this man. Let's bring in Teddy Atlas right now and get his pick on this fight. Teddy, I guess it's easy to underrate or overrate Carlos Baldomir. Again, Gatti didn't have to worry about money. He said, get me this fight. Floyd Mayweather said, who is this guy to demand this type of money? I'll go with Zab Judah anyway. What are your thoughts on this fight, Teddy?
Well, first of all, my thoughts on Baldomir. You know, we always look at talents as being speed, as being power, as being finesse, as something that has a neon sign above it. How about being just steady? How about just knowing how to win? Baldomir is that guy. He's a steady guy, technically sound, doesn't do anything great, but does nothing really poor. I think this is going to be a good fight. I favor Gatti. Everybody's looking at Baldomir as being the naturally bigger guy, a welterweight his whole career. Gatti came up from featherweight, won his first title as junior welterweight, then moved up to lightweight. Won his first title as junior lightweight, moved up to lightweight, and then junior welterweight, and now, of course, trying the waters at welterweight. But where's the advantage of being a bigger guy if you're not strong? He's not a bigger guy, Baldomir, who's a big guy who's powerful and strong. So that advantage, not so big. But how about the advantage of the smaller guy? The guy in Gatti, in this case, who's quicker, who has a great amount of experience, and who can use his legs. He can move a little bit. Baldomir, a little one-dimensional in front of you. I think what's going to happen is early on, Gatti's going to grab the lead with those quicker feet and those quicker hands. He's going to get a lead, and you know what? He's going to need that lead because Baldomir will come on as Gatti starts to settle in front, which, guess what? You know it, Brian. Gatti has a habit of settling in front.
Yeah, and making it exciting. So you're saying, Teddy, it wasn't just a bad night for Zab Judah. You're saying he'd have a tough time with Baldomir no matter what.
Yeah, I am saying that because Baldomir is everything I just said. Everything that doesn't shine. Everything that does not glitter. He is a guy that makes the right choices in that squared circle. The right choices under pressure. He's the guy who has a great talent. And guess what? It's not speed, it's not power. Guess what it is? Dependability. And that is a great talent, and that has served him as a winner.
And yet you go with Gatti as a decision. Gatti decision, unanimous decision.
Gatti has more choices. Gatti can box, he can use his legs. Baldomir a little slow on his feet, a little one-dimensional. And I think that Gatti has the quicker hands. Baldomir is going to want to be inside. Gatti's going to be able to take the outside, take those options, get a lead. And when he has to fight inside, well, we know he's pretty good there, too.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Teddy. I think Gatti by decision, giving full respect to Carlos Baldomir. Here's what people are saying on ESPN.com. By the way, I also think that Gatti really outmaneuvered Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd Mayweather won that fight going away against Arturo Gatti. Gatti is the guy who went after the championship, not just the payday. Who will win? Gatti by KO is what you're saying on ESPN.com. 45%. Not even by decision. 28% going for Gatti by decision. Again, should be very competitive. Speaking of good competition on the Contender, had some real upsets on the first week of the Contender this past Tuesday. You can see again week number 2 as they continue in the first round. And we'll have much more on the Contender in the first week coming up later on Friday Night Fights. But it's Tuesday, 10 Eastern. You can see it every week on ESPN. The main event is next here on ESPN. Anthony Bonsante from year 1 of the Contender taking on an up-and-comer, a heavy hitter in Allan Green.
If you could pick any...
So a week of heavyweights next week after just coming off of a very good heavyweight fight here on Friday Night Fights. Well, what happens when a reality show meets reality? We're about to find out. The popular participant from season 1 of the Contender, Anthony Bonsante, is going to step outside the Contender ranks and face unbeaten Allan Green. Allan Green has that home crowd edge here in Tulsa. He also has all the skill, athleticism, and career momentum that many are convinced will take him to a world championship. But that promising path to glory almost disappeared in his last fight. And there's a right hand followed by a left that puts McPhee down.
This is just a matter of not what's going to happen, but which punch is going to do it.
Short overhand right from Allan Green. Devastating punch puts down Sebastian Hill.
6. Get in the fight. That fight's over.
As a promoter, I've got to work with some of the top talent in the world, and when I saw this kid, he possesses something special.
Show me something. Show me something.
I told him 3 years ago he could fight. I told him once you learn the professional game and you know all the tricks of the trade, no one can touch you.
I do have a reputation as a puncher, and I am a puncher. And if I get a guy hurt, he's done for.
That statement proved true when Green pummeled J. Don Codrington in Ring Magazine's Knockout of the Year.
It's done a lot for my career, but you know, every time you fight on TV and you look impressive, it does something for your career. I got a lot more fans from the Codrington knockout. Before I was a slick boxer puncher, and then all of a sudden I became just this King Kong type of guy who just goes in and blows everybody out.
It set up talks of facing champion Joe Calzaghe, but first Green had to get past short notice opponent and former sparring partner Donnie McCrary.
The day of the fight, I got Allan out of bed and said, I'm concerned. I think you're taking this kid lightly.
I didn't take Donnie lightly. It was just that it was hard for me to get motivated for a guy that I handled easily in sparring.
In this fight, I see Allan Green. I think he's underestimating the guy because he's coming in with his hands down, his head's up.
He had the kid hurt. He was dominating, and he went to finish off the bout.
Something he wanted to try to achieve tonight was more body work. He digs in with 2 shots there, and one of them puts down Donnie McCrary.
And I was thinking, okay, man, just stay down, Donnie. You know, don't even get up. I looked out in the crowd for a second, and then I was like, okay, let me go finish him off. Then it happened.
No better way. See? Oh my God! What a upset this could be! See? Can you believe this? This would be the biggest upset in years. Donnie McCrary, after being knocked down, has just won. Allan Green, you said he was cocky. You said he was cocky, and I just coached him.
When I got back to my corner, I was thinking, finally, it happened. It happened. I got knocked down. The day before the fight, somebody asked me how would I react to being hurt. I just said I react the way I talk. I react like a champion.
When we got through the round, I had no doubt how the fight was going to end. I think Allan was a little embarrassed, as any young fighter would be, and he came out and dominated.
That is the pure one-punch power of Allan Green.
He answered all my questions, and now I know that Allan Green is a complete fighter.
The lesson I learned in that fight is you have to be motivated for any guy. Even if a guy is a quote-unquote, what they say, bum. If he's in the ring, he's fighting you on the main event on ESPN, he's there for a reason. John David Jackson is the best trainer in the game, hands down. And just this little bit of time, so many things that I've already learned, so many things that I didn't even know existed in boxing.
Balance is first and foremost. With the balance, he can set them up a little easier and pick his shots. And they might not see the shots he's gonna throw because why? He's getting different angles.
I never realized the importance of having a great trainer. Your trainer is like your lifeline. I'm excited about the fighter that I'll become from working with him.
Tonight I'm looking for Allan to go back to the old Allan Green, very explosive, very showing dominance in the ring. I want to see dominance tonight.
I'm not going to glorify him and say, oh, Anthony Bonsante a great fighter or anything like that. I take him serious and I respect him as a fighter, but he is not on my level. And tonight it will show because he will fall.
He's posterized in town. And he's live, ready to star under the lights. Sweetness Allan Green. 26 years old, born and raised right here in Tulsa. He came in at 162.5. That's tight for him. 6'2", so he'll have a 5-inch height advantage. And after surviving the McCrary evening, he's 20-0. There's his last 5 fights. We'll show you the work prior to the McCrary fight. You see it? He could have worked a little harder against Smith and Muller. Then he went the other way and couldn't impress more against Codrington and Jackson. What a challenge it'll be for the 10-year veteran from Minnesota. 5'9", 164-pound Anthony Bonsante. He had to pull out of the scheduled April fight with Green because of a cut that was over his right eye. It happened in sparring. He is 26-7-1. He has lost 3 straight, but his last 5 will remind you the fact that most observers felt he really should be coming off a win. His 5-round decision loss to Jesse Brinkley, that was one of the more controversial fights of 2005. Well, the other day on Wednesday Night Fights, Teddy described this matchup as an open-wheel Indy car racing against a stock car. Now he breaks it down in further detail with the fight plan.
Look for Allan Green tonight to stand up in front of all his hometown fans and show there's only one contender here in this town, and that's him. I look forward to do it with his strength. Screaming for joy.
And that's the way it is right now in anticipation for Allan Green. Former National Golden Gloves champ and a 26-year-old who folks here in Tulsa think will represent them with a world title. 10-round fight. Gerald Ritter is the referee.
Protect yourself at all times. Keep your punches up, touch gloves, let's go.
Allan Green pulling away quickly there. Bonsante banking on his superior ring experience to win him this fight. 16 more fights, 122 more rounds. And you saw a little bit of the attitude of Allan Green there as they went to touch him up, and he was pulling away, barely touching him up. Bonsante was quite upset yesterday at a press conference when Green would not shake hands with him. He said he's never seen that before, and let it be known that Green talked a lot of smack coming into this fight.
And let it be known, Green coming out fast.
Just like he did against Jadon Codrington. We will identify the men with the color of their gloves. Green wears the white gloves tonight. Bonsante in the black gloves tonight. Both men wearing the black trunks with white trim.
Green throws a good left hook. He can set it up off the jab. He can lead with it. And as we showed in the fight plan, he's pretty good at countering it when you come forward and walk into it.
Green putting out that jab. There's a look at the left hook. Doesn't land. Bonsante scores with the jab. He pulled out of the previously scheduled fight with Allan Green because of a cut over the right eye. Green was very, very suspicious about the injury to Bonsante. He thought Bonsante was ducking him.
Well, Bonsante right now is stepping straight back. When you step straight back and your opponent, like Green, has fast hands and long arms, that can be very dangerous. You think you're out of range and you're not out of range.
Allan Green working with John David Jackson as his trainer for this fight. The former world champion, of course, was preparing Shane Mosley for his first fight with Fernando Vargas, and recently did stellar work with Bernard Hopkins, winning the light heavyweight title away from Antonio Tarver.
Well, you can see the tactic of Bonsante, and he needs a tactic. We've already established he cannot stay on the playing field with pure athletic ability, because that belongs and that favors Green. Bonsante wants to box a little bit, use his legs a little bit, go in and out, keep Green the bigger, stronger, faster guy off balance. And as you saw earlier, Bonsante wants to negate that strength on the inside by tying up Green. You can't be the bigger, stronger guy if you can't use your arms.
Green working well with that jab.
Bonsante likes to use a jab. Not as fast, not as spectacular as Green's, but it can be effective, it can be accurate, and it can be thrown at the right time. What he has to be careful with, though, sometimes Bonsante throws that jab from too close. And if you do that, you can leave yourself open to counter right hands.
Good quick work with that jab there. Green being more patient as this first round was going on.
Right now, Bonsante not talking with his mouth, but with his style, with his approach. He's telling you, yeah, I know what my disadvantages are, and I'm doing something about it. I'm moving, I'm boxing, I'm trying to use strategy.
He did it.
Guys, are you sick of feeling fat and tired? Has your sex life slowed down or even come to a screeching halt?
Introducing Nutrisystem for men.
Look at these guys. They all lost a ton of weight with Nutrisystem. You can too.
Order today and get 4 full weeks of awesome food. Plus, you'll get an extra week of hearty meals free. The secret to the system is the glycemic index, a science that separates good carbs from bad. So now you can eat pasta, burgers, even pizza.
Come on, get back in the game.
Since Nutrisystem, my sex life is excellent. I feel I'm back again. I feel like better than I did in high school.
About $10 a day gets you 4 full weeks of rib-sticking meals.
If you want to lose weight, pick up the phone and change your life.
I'm 40 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life.
Order our 4-week men's program and get an extra 7 breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and desserts, a full week of food, and a $70 value absolutely free. So call now.
Round number 2, the scheduled 10-round main event. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas ringside here on Friday Night Fights, presented by Just for Men Hair Color. In that first round, the undefeated Allan Green with the white gloves was 18 of 30 on his jabs. Green looking over to referee Gerald Ritter, complaining of being tied up on the inside. He may see more of that as the evening goes on. Bonsante has to fight smart, has to make up for the differential in the athletic gifts.
You never know how an athlete, in this case a fighter, is affected by a scare. The way the undefeated Green had a scare in his last fight with Donnie McCrary, where he was on the floor and almost got knocked out. But just going by the scale, nothing else, Green was affected. He came in 162.5 pounds, the lightest of his career.
Which leads me to an interesting question. Should he be contending as a middleweight to shave off those last 2 pounds and get to 160?
Well, that's a great question. I will tell you this much. He has the option, the great option that very few athletes, very few fighters have. He could fight at light heavyweight, at super middleweight, or at middleweight.
And there is an interested middleweight observer here tonight that we will visit with later on. The middleweight world champion, Jermaine Taylor.
Green looks like he's the cat who's getting closer and closer to trapping that mouth. He's trying to line up Bonsante. He's taking his time. He's feinting Bonsante a little bit, trying to get a defensive move out of Bonsante so he can find him.
We had Ring Magazine's knockout of the year, and there's a knockdown, a delayed reaction after the left hand by Anthony Bonsante.
5, 6, 7.
He can strike quick, Allan Green.
And there's enough time left in the round. He mustn't just strike quick right now. He must strike smart.
Let him go.
And not allow Bonsante to fall in and smother him. Bonsante's job is to smother and to tie up. Green's job simply is not to get tied up and to keep that offense going.
Short right hand, Bonsante ties up.
That is Bonsante's job right now. Usually your job is to win rounds. Right now, Bonsante's job is to survive a round. Green's job is to keep distance and not go crazy, not go headhunting. He went a little crazy, didn't keep enough distance, won a 10-8 round, but lost out on the opportunity.
Get your head together
to
now.
finish
Get
his
your
man.
head together, nice and smooth. Tony. Everything okay? Can you see? Decent? Huh? All right. You got to get your head together. You got to get your legs under you. Box him when the round starts, box him. Move. Stick and move. And you got to throw that right hand behind the jab, Tony.
Here's a look back at the knockdown, Teddy.
Well, right here, we talked about the left hook in the fight plan, and we talked about the availability for that left hook. And you saw it right there. Bonsante reaches in a little bit. His upper body gets ahead of him. And as he reached in a little bit after that right hand, you could see the left hook finds the mark of Green.
And
by
Teddy,
Green.
let's talk about the mark that it found, because that's that spot right in the backside of the ear where you get that equilibrium reaction, and you see the look on the face of Bonsante where you got to find your legs, and your equilibrium can be greatly affected for a little bit.
Yes, they can. You hit, like you said, behind that ear.
Punches up.
A lot of things can happen. Not good things to the man being hit.
There are the headshots, 40%, throwing 100, landing 40. The most brutal being that left hand in the second round. Oh, here he comes again.
And here comes the left hook again. And here comes the speed. And there, once again, yes, speed, yes, size. All those things, all that talent of Green, but forgetting the technique right there to keep distance and not allow Bonsante to grab him and stop all that talent from being used.
Uppercut blocked, but Bonsante throwing something now. Trying to get his feet underneath him here. 2 minutes to go in the third round. Floored in the second round. He's a tough guy from a tough town, is Tony Bonsante.
But right now he's standing in front of Green a little too much.
Ate a right hand moments ago. Tried to go with it. Trying to show some movement now.
See, where Bonsante is standing right now does not serve him, because the longer reach belongs to Green. Green can reach Bonsante right about there.
That's the danger zone right at the end of the punch.
Bonsante cannot reach Green from there. So Bonsante can do nothing but get hit from there. If he wants to do some hitting, he has to come forward. And when he comes forward, it can be perilous territory.
5'9" versus 6'2".
What you just saw there is one of the things that is helping Bonsante. Green a little over anxious, overshooting himself and smothering himself, allowing Bonsante to tie up in spots.
Just missed with a right hand. Bonsante, a touch of head movement, saved him that time.
You know Green is taller, he's quicker, he's longer. And you can see that he has a nice left hook, and he caught Bonsante stepping out. It's up to Green to move those hands where he can take full advantage of the things that I just talked about. Punch at the right distance, not fall in like he just did there. Punch at the right distance where he can catch Bonsante, get full extension on his punches, and keep Bonsante from reacting back, from evening things up.
Allan Green in complete control at the end of 3.
When something is real, you know it. Introducing new Just for Men. Its new True Color formula targets only gray. Easy as shampooing for a natural look that is real. Real to the eye, real to the touch. Real where it counts. New True Color Just for Men.
If you're looking to ramp up your ride, get ready. Advance Auto Parts has a brand new...
Here watching the fights, they won a contest, Joe, not too long ago, a contest that was done by Everlast, of course the apparel and equipment company, and a name that's synonymous with boxing. They won a contest in their catalog to come to New York a couple months ago and train in Gleason's, and there was no other better trainers or no good trainers around, so they wound up throwing me in there to train them.
Why do I have a feeling you didn't go soft on them?
Well, they got on that plane a little bit more tired than they were when they first got to New York. Nice people.
Round 4. Tony Bonsante trying to survive against the undefeated power-punching prospect, Allan Green. Bonsante hit the deck in the second round after a left hook right to the ear from Green. Green has been sharp tonight. (10-8) second round, 30-26, a real uphill battle for Bonsante. And remember, he said he wanted to survive those early rounds and hope for the best in the later rounds. He's got to get to those later rounds at this point.
Even though Green is bigger, stronger, faster, the only place that Bonsante has been safe has been in close. Because Green not really an inside fighter, but on the outside with those quick hands and those long arms of Green, Bonsante keeps himself right in those crosshairs of the guns of Green.
Punch track numbers, you see Green utilizing the jab. 52% of his jabs landing. Bonsante not making any contact there with that 3-punch combination.
The moments where Bonsante has had some success has been in close, where he'll put punches together and he'll score. Again, Green not really an inside fighter, but there's a big danger to those moments, because when Bonsante does get in close, he has to travel towards Green, and that's an opportunity for Green with the quick hands to do some counterpunching.
Short right hand. Bonsante wraps up.
Right.
Coming to the end of this 4th round, Allan Green chiseled himself down to 162 pounds, undefeated, 20-0. An impressive power puncher, had Ring Magazine's knockout of the year, and says, you know what, I'm 2 pounds away. I may contend as a middleweight in the near future. Fittingly, the middleweight champion of the world came here to be ringside with us tonight. Good evening, Jermaine Taylor. How are you?
I'm all right.
So what do you think of Allan Green, and is he in your future plans way down the road?
I think he's a great fighter. I think he still got a little work to do. and I'll be looking forward to seeing him.
Last week, Teddy Atlas and I were in L.A., and Sergio Mora joined us, and there has been so much talk of a potential fight between you and the Contender Season 1 champion. What can you tell us? Where does it stand?
I'm a fighter. I'll fight anybody. It doesn't make a difference who it is. I just go in there, and I just take care of business. If he want to fight me, yeah, I'll be glad they make the fight happen. Whoever. If it's Winky, it's Winky. I'm ready to fight whoever.
If you fight him and you win that fight, are you going to take over the network? Are you going to be in charge of the Contender?
That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be me. It's going to be me, Sugar Ray, and
Is that a fight that you really want? I know there's talk out of there that, you know what, Jermaine Taylor deserves that kind of a fight. He's been in with Hopkins twice and then Winky Wright, so he deserves that kind of a fight where he'd be a big favorite. Is that a fight you want?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm the type of guy I want to take the big fights.
So I'll take that as a somewhat no.
No, it's not that. I mean, he's a great fighter. Don't get me twisted. But I'm the type of fighter I like to fight. A Winky Wright, Hopkins type guy. I'm a fighter, baby. That's what I like to do.
I think your promoter and manager, though, would like one like this.
I think so, too.
Round number 5 here between Green and Bonsante. What have you seen between Green and Bonsante, Jermaine Taylor? What do you see that you really like out of Allan Green, and what do you see as a potential flaw?
I think Allan Green has a great jab. His speed is great. He has great power. He stays busy.
And what does he need to improve on?
I just think he needs to improve on, just getting a little more meaner with it. He's mean with it.
But it's a left hand.
That's that left hook we talked about in the fight plan. Bonsante coming forward and leaving himself just a little bit available to that good counter left hook. And the speed you just talked about, Jermaine, of Green.
Yeah. Oh, good body
shot. Yeah, nice body shot. The right hand from Allan Green.
How important is it? What I see a little similarity, of course he doesn't have the experience and hasn't done the things you've done yet, but Green is tall, he's long, he's got quick hands like you. It serves him to be on the outside to use those actions.
Oh, look at that left hand.
Another good left hook right there. And Bonsante, this is what I'm talking about. For you to be your best, you need to be on the outside, use that long jab, use that speed. How important is it for Green to learn not to let guys do this, come inside and smother them? How important is that?
It's very important. As you see when he threw that hook, he caught him from the outside, and the boy just came in. And I have the same problem about lunging in.
Exactly.
He's catching him with good shots from the outside.
Green. Jermaine Taylor, what a nice visit it was to have you with us ringside. Best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
Taylor, the middleweight champion of the world. Big round for Allan Green. Bonsante trying to stay in there. Stunned and hurt. Staggered a few times here in the 5th round. Green all over him.
Well, right now it's the job of Bonsante once again. He had this job earlier in the night. He didn't want this job, but he's got it. To survive, to move, to use his legs, to try to keep Green off balance. I went inside, well now he's down, but to smother up Green, it's the job of Green now, if Bonsante gets up, Joe, to finish the job and not get tied up and keep distance where he can keep that offense going.
This fight is over. Look at the right side of the face of Anthony Bonsante.
Too big, too strong, too fast, and too many left hooks by Allan Green with Bonsante.
Allan Green said, "Don't be fooled. Don't think that I'm slipping after what you saw against Donnie McCrary. Slipping? I think not."
Green found something early that worked. We were talking about in the top, it's one thing to have all the advantages, and Green had all the advantages. But it's another thing to find a place to use those advantages, to understand your opponent's weakness. Green understood that. And the big advantage that Green used all night long was the ability to land that left hook.
The left hook critical tonight. Came through with it in the 2nd round for a knockdown, but in the 5th round, he couldn't miss with the left hook, Teddy.
He found out early that it worked, and to Green's credit, he stayed with it late. There were plenty of opportunities for that left. If Bonsante reached in, he countered him with the left hook. If Bonsante pulled back, he stepped with him like that and caught him with the left hook.
For the official particulars of Allan Green's destruction of Anthony Bonsante, we send it up to the ring to Mark Fierro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 37 seconds of the 5th round. The winner by technical knockout and still undefeated, Allan Sweetness Green.
Allan Green, 21-0 with 15 knockouts. Tony Bonsante, from reality show to harsh reality, the 8th loss of his 10-year career. Oh, what a night for the hometown kid in Tulsa. Allan Green, he said, don't be fools. Nobody was here. An impressive showing. The 5th round knockout of Anthony Bonsante. Let's send it back to Brian Kenny.
Well, Joe, look, that's a bad matchup, and Allan Green is a bad matchup for most people at super middleweight or middleweight. Speaking of the Contender, the season premiere of the Contender on ESPN this past week, and week 1 in keeping with Contender tradition. Let's take a look at the highlights. The guy who was kind of the unofficial top seed, guy thought of as the top fighter in the group, is the man on the right, Michael Clark. Michael Clark comes in, world-class experience, but coming in against the guy who was the last man selected in the Contender Playground draft. He really struggled. Cornelius Bundridge, 33 years old, had good balance, had a very good jab. Again, the last guy picked as they picked each other and picked off teams, blue and gold teams. And here in the 5th round, rather, a right hand puts down Michael Clark. K9, Cornelius Bundridge, with a stunning win to take out Michael Clark. And again, we've seen Michael Clark a lot here on Friday Night Fights in main events. He is done. He's out of the Contender. Remember, last year it was Anthony Manfredo who lost, who was the top guy, lost in his first fight, but he got back in when Jeff Frazier got chicken pox. The second bout, Nito Norberto Bravo, 35 years old, one of the second chance, last chance contenders, very experienced, taking on Rudy Cisneros in the yellow. Cisneros came out smoking. He had a great first round. From there, though, from what we've seen anyway, Norberto Bravo took over. Bravo, again, very experienced, high level of competition. He's been in there with Demetrius Hopkins and Ben Tacky in his last bout. Bravo beats Cisneros, Rudy Cisneros, 8-1, now 8-2, 24 years old. He's out. So there's the gold team right there. You see Gary Boletto hasn't fought yet. Ebo Elder, Stephen Forbes, Jeff Frazier, mentioned him. A lot of experienced guys. The guys that you've seen here, again, main events here on Friday Night Fights. Whereas the blue team, they're all still in. Nick Acevedo has yet to fight. Andre Eason, Michael No Joke Stewart, and again, into the second round, K9 Cornelius Bundridge moves on. And so does Norberto Bravo. You can see the Contender every Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, over on ESPN. Again, you'll see the rest of the first round. They'll continue on coming up this Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Well, once again, Allan Green on the way up, had that bit of a slip, got knocked down, rattled, but here, totally dominant and looked marvelous. Let's go back to him with Joe and Teddy.
Thanks, Brian. There is a buzz here in Tulsa, and they are hopeful that this town will be soon represented by a world title hopeful, Allan Green, on his way, the 21st win of his career. It happened moments ago, and the left hook was the key to it. Let's take a look back at some of the action against Anthony Bonsante. Allan Green now joins us. Allan, appreciate your work.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it a lot. You know, I was getting a little antsy at first in the beginning, but my new trainer, John Diva Jackson, told me to settle down a little bit and go back to the key, which is the jab. You need the key to open the door. So I opened the door up and I got him.
What are you smiling about so much? Why
I'm just happy, man.
Smiling?
I'm just happy today, man. You know, when you feel good, you just want to smile.
It's a different feeling than the last time you were with us.
Oh, yeah.
What took you so long?
I don't know, man. I was just trying to take my time. I wanted to get some rounds in. You're right. I could have been a little more assertive early on, but he's kind of cagey. Kept rushing in and grabbing me and doing different things. So I didn't want to make myself look bad, which at times I did by swinging wild and missing him. So I settled down, went back to the jab, start going to the body more and open it up.
Well, you're conscious of the right things. You're conscious of more than just having ability.
Oh, yeah, I'm conscious of a lot of that.
You have to be responsible for many things.
Exactly, you have to. And be responsible and be careful not catch crazy punches like I did the last fight.
And one other thing, a little bit, very hard to give you any demerits tonight.
Yeah.
But with your size, with your speed, with your length, you know a lot of guys are going to try to fall in and smother you. You have to find a way not to allow that to happen.
And the reason why I allowed it to happen, because I was worried about throwing one shot too much instead of, you know, moving to side and picking my spots. I was getting a little antsy, a little over anxious, and so when I would try to throw a hard shot, he would get in and grab me instead of me using my jab and sitting down.
I'll give it to you tonight.
Okay.
Not the next time.
Okay.
Let's talk about where your career stands real quick. Jermaine Taylor was ringside.
Yeah.
He was impressed. You were only 2 pounds away from 160 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
What's the future?
The future, well, we can do it. I can go down to 160. It don't make me no difference. You know, we can go to 160. I'll take Taylor. But I believe we have Lacey waiting in the wings, so hopefully we can get something going on with Lacey.
Where do you feel most comfortable? You have 3 choices. You could fight light heavyweight, super middleweight, and middleweight. Where do you feel best? Where's Allan Green fit in best?
Wherever the money's at. Wherever the money's at, that's where I feel best.
Well, let's just wrap this up real quick, because there was a report we heard tonight that there's a potential Lacey fight in October if you were impressive tonight.
Exactly.
Can you confirm that for us?
Yes, that is the truth. And if Jeff Lacey, you know, he ready to get his death row wish and get his head knocked off, he can step up too.
So it's Jeff Lacey next.
If you want it.
There you go. Allan Green impressed tonight against Anthony Bonsante. The knockout win, 21-0 now. We will be back with more live fight action from Tulsa after this. Stay with us.
You can.
ESPN2 Friday Night Fights is presented by the new Just for Men hair color. Knocks out the gray better than ever. A look at the Arkansas River. Getting a little low there in summertime. We are not far away from those banks at the Osage $1 Million Elm Casino. Moments ago, this crowd stoked with Allan Green's knockout win. Next up, 4 rounds, junior middleweights, Oklahoma's own Carson Jones takes on Justin Flanagan. There's Carson Jones, 11 wins, 2 losses, a draw, 7 knockouts in his 11 wins. He's only 19 years old, 5'10", 154 and a half. He is taking on Carlston, Arkansas's Justin Flanagan, 24 years old. He's had 5 pro fights, 4 wins, all 4 wins by knockout. They're going to go 4 rounds, and Gerald Ritter is the referee.
Okay, fighters, I've already given you your instructions. To obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Both trunks are good. Touch your gloves up, and let's go.
Justin Flanagan started his career in October 2004. Had back-to-back TKO wins. Then he lost a 4-round decision before gathering up 2 more knockout wins. 2 no decisions thrown in the mix there. Thus the 4-1 record with 4 knockouts.
Flanagan
he is in the black and red.
Flanagan took this fight on very short notice. 4 wins for Flanagan, all by knockout. Is it power, or is it the opponents that he's been facing? 5 of his fights have been in Arkansas, 1 fight in Oklahoma, 1 fight in Kansas. Those states do allow for soft competition. Jones, most of his fights, being a local product, most of his fights have been right here in Oklahoma. Weight has fluctuated for both these young men. Jones only 19, Flanagan 24. Jones, his weight has fluctuated, Joe, from 145 pounds welterweight limit to 160 pounds, the middleweight limit. He's only 19, he's still growing. And Flanagan, his weight has fluctuated from a low of 150 pounds all the way up to light heavyweight, 174 pounds.
Flanagan putting out the jab, tries to come with a right hand behind it. Now digs to the body. And Carson Jones returns fire, going to the body and then upstairs with a left hand.
Jones has been knocked out 1 time. Flanagan Even though he took this on quick notice, he's coming in light as weight. He's been in 1 year and 8 months. Matter of fact, amazingly, Flanagan only fought 3 months ago. He's 14 pounds less tonight than he was in that fight. That's a lot of weight to take off, especially if he took this fight on quick notice. We'll see whether or not that hurts Flanagan as and if the rounds go on.
Jones looking for some room on the inside. Flanagan put him into that corner. Now fires off a three-punch combination. Does get to the outside as the 19-year-old Carson Jones. 2 shots to the body, then upstairs, turns himself around, spins around, and gets a look from Gerald Ritter, and then comes in with a left hand. So showboating a little.
And gets hit with a right hand.
Yeah.
Keep those hands down. Well, you know one thing about Jones, he's flashier, and he is quicker.
Tell that by the trunks. And you can tell that by putting Flanagan down on the seat of his pants. You saw the fast hands there.
6, 7, 8. Walk toward me. You okay? Box.
Closing moments of this first round. Carson Jones feeling confident.
Don't throw.
First time I had a Samuel Adams Boston Lager, it was like, wow, what is this stuff?
Boston Lager, it was love at first taste.
It's got a nice hoppiness to it.
We're just literally shoving hops into our beer, and I think we're considered marginally insane. Most brewers have a dash of hops.
We use a pound of hops per barrel.
You know you're drinking a beer. It's not watery, you know, it's got something to it.
Boston Lager tastes full-bodied. Try a Sam Adams and know that that's what beer is supposed to taste like. Don't be afraid of flavor, my man.
Hey, Goodman.
What's up, yo?
I got the new BlackBerry from Sprint. Check out how fast I can download big files.
I get my big files fast.
Really? It's a different kind of file, Goodman.
Get the new BlackBerry 7130E for $199.99 and download big files fast. Visit a Sprint or Nextel store or call 1-8-SPRINT-BIZ to learn how to make just about any place a workplace.
Knocked down in the first round by Carson Jones.
By a right hand of Carson Jones and the quicker hands of Carson Jones.
Carson Jones from Oklahoma City. We are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on the heels of the knockout win by Allan Green over Anthony Bonsante. Round number 2 scheduled for 4. Teddy, I want to talk to you about our talk with Allan Green after his vicious knockout of Bonsante, because he basically confirmed that it's going to be Jeff Lacey in the fall for him. What do you think?
Well, I think it's an interesting fight. Lacey's coming off a really tough loss where he took a lot of punches with Calzaghe. You know, a loss that was physical, that took a lot of physical things out of him, possibly. I mean, he took a lot of punches in that fight, and a fight that mentally and emotionally took a lot of the confidence possibly out of Lacey, who was undefeated going into that fight. So you have a young undefeated fighter in Green who's very talented, very confident right now, going in there with a former world champion Lacey, whose confidence is a little bit down. But he's been tested in that last fight. He's been tested, he lost to Calzaghe, and he's now in a position where he's going to want to prove something. The same position that Green was in going into this fight, coming off that knockdown in his last fight.
Carson Jones is proving something here against Justin Flanagan. Look at the Just for Men punch track. And you can see Jones's numbers, 34 total punches.
Right now, this fight just not an even fight. Jones just much better in every department, physically. His technique is better. His punches get there truer, purer. He has more options. He can go inside, he can go outside, he can use his legs. Flanagan, for the most part, one-dimensional right in front of you. Jones with a huge speed advantage. The only shot for Flanagan is to try to use that old equalizer when you're dealing with somebody much, much faster than you. Try to time him. You're not going to outspeed him. Try to time him as he comes in. And Flanagan right now, not of the mindset to do that.
Flanagan took a good body shot moments ago. You saw him bend over. Now he's back upright, but he's been absorbing a lot in his second round. If your curiosity was piqued like ours was about the markings on the back of Justin Flanagan, well, we did ask him, and he refused to reveal what they're all about. The way this fight's going, you may not be seeing them long, as the back may be on the canvas soon enough. Chopping down with the right hand to behind the head. Very dangerous punch by Carson Jones. Just about halfway through this scheduled 4-rounder.
Time.
Don't bounce all over the place looking for a deal. Just hit Motel6.com, the best place for the best rates. High score. Motel6.com. We'll leave the light on for you.
More bars in more places. That's what people have come to expect from Cingular. And now they can expect even more. Testing from the leading independent research company proves that Cingular's all-over network has the fewest dropped calls of any wireless network. The fewest dropped calls. Proof that we mean what we say. Raising the bar.
Are you breaking up with me?
No!
I get a little crazy.
My Super Ex-Girlfriend, rated PG-13. Now playing.
Alongside Teddy Atlas, I'm Joe Tessitore. This is Friday Night Fights presented by Just for Men Hair Color. Round 3, Carson Jones from Oklahoma City. He is in the silver and gray flashy trunks. And he was able to get to Justin Flanagan in the first round and really took it to him in the second round. Also, look at these numbers, Teddy. 50 out of 92. Flanagan taking a lot.
You know, just to touch real quickly on that question you asked me the last round about which can be a really interesting match between Allan Green and Jeff Lacey. I would summarize it this way. It's either the right fight for either one. It's either the right fight for Lacey, coming off a tremendous beating, where he's going to get a greener guy in front of him to get him right back on track, where he's going to use his experience as being a former champion to really leapfrog right back into position. Or it's the perfect time for Green, a talented but still untested in some areas prospect, and now of course contender, to catch Jeff Lacey coming off a tremendous beating where psychologically and physically he might be damaged.
Well, Allan Green was the one giving out the damage tonight with his knockout of Anthony Bonsante in our main event.
Give credit to Flanagan for showing heart. He can't match Jones when it comes to the skill departments, but he's hanging in there, letting those hands go. Not as well, not as fast, but right now, trying to do the best he can in a match where he's outgunned. And he's just in there with a guy better than him.
Punch out.
Again, the quicker man here, Jones. You don't need me to tell you that. He does leave himself open in spots, though. He's quick with those hands, but he can be careless with the placement of those hands, stepping back with them down. The best shot for Flanagan is to try to catch him stepping back, but right now, Jones not giving Flanagan that chance.
Left hand came in from Jones. Oh, Flanagan is just taking a ton right here. Just catching and catching some more.
Stop! Break! There you go. Get back.
We also visited with Jermaine Taylor earlier tonight. Kind of got a lukewarm reception when we talked about that Sergio Mora fight with him, didn't we?
Yeah, you know, he always was talking in the way where he was saying, let Sergio Mora get more experience. Let him get up closer to the area where I've been for the last couple of years. Let him get some wins, some real significant wins with that kind of talent, and then we'll talk about it.
But he's a very popular fighter, and there would be good attention in terms of mainstream media in making that fight. Coming to the end of round 3.
Here's to men. To guys who want to take longer drives with fewer pit stops. To guys who want to spend less time in the men's room and more time fishing. And here's to Flomax. It's approved to treat male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also called an enlarged prostate. In 1 week, Flomax may help symptoms like going often, going urgently, weak stream, frequently waking up at night to go. For you, Flomax could make a difference in 1 week. Ask your doctor if symptoms are from BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden decrease in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. For more information, call 877-4FLOMAX. Ask your doctor about Flomax. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
You don't see Teddy Atlas's scorecard look like this often. Look at how it reads between Jones and Flanagan. 3 10-8 rounds to open up the fight, and that's only with 1 knockdown scored in the first round. But it's been that dominating of a performance and that hopeless of a situation between Jones and Flanagan. Dominating by Jones, hopeless for Flanagan.
Stop! Stop! Get your head up. Let him go. Let him go.
There's a left hand from Carson Jones. 11 wins from Oklahoma City, only 19 years old. Goes to the body, doubles up the right hand, went up top 2. And now Flanagan tries to fire back with a right hand, but the defense just hasn't been there.
The difference in talent, just too severe. And in technique, Jones has both. The only thing where Jones wanes a little bit, and it's a place where he's not paying a price, is recklessness with the placement of his hands. Yeah, he has quick ones, but he'll drop him around his side. He'll pull back with him down. He leaves defensive liabilities. Liabilities that he's going to have to worry about sometime, but probably not tonight.
Another left hand comes in, and the combination that finishes with a right hand, and Carson Jones just keeps on punching.
The best shot for Flanagan, once again, a very, very overmatched Flanagan. He can't match physicalities with Jones. His best shot, one way to take speed away is to time speed. To try to time Jones, and he gives you opportunities to do that. He gets intoxicated with his talent. He'll jump in from too far away, he'll have his hands down, his chin up a little bit. Flanagan needs to set himself and time Jones as he comes in. The only other spot for Flanagan is to catch Jones as he pulls back with his hands down. Right now, Jones does not have to pull back. See there's the spot.
That's it right there.
He went back with the right hand down, and Flanagan, to his credit, followed him with a left hook.
And there was no point to it by Jones. Final minute. Flanagan bent over. Jones an opportunity with the left uppercut. Didn't connect with it hard.
Well, Jones has proved a couple of things. One, he's proved that he's got quick hands, he's a little flashy, and he's put in a mismatched fight here tonight. Another thing, he's not a tremendous puncher. If he was, Flanagan, hard or no hard, would not be here. If Jones concentrates, even with 15 seconds left, on a well-placed body shot, he might still be able to possibly pull out a stoppage.
Stop.
Not going to be.
There you go. Time, don't throw. Good job,
Good
guys.
showing for 19-year-old Carson Jones from Oklahoma City. We will come back to Tulsa and wrap up this 4-rounder. Stay with us.